I got the little message. Alrighty.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Ready, Set, Collaborate with Wanda Pearson and my guest, Denise Renee, episode 15. I am so excited about this because this is my second series that I'm doing on book collaboration. And I know Denise is going to give me some other pointers as far as what she does. Denise Renee. Denise Renee. We're going to give, and we're going to have some fun with this, Denise Renee. I'm sorry, I got a cousin named Denise. So, Denise Renee, I want
Yes.
to talk about your bio, and then you can tell us a little bit about yourself. Then I want to ask you some questions. So, but thank you for joining us. This is, I meant to say,
Having me.
Happy New Year. Happy
Happy
2024. Yeah.
2024. That's right. So I appreciate you for having me. Thank you for reaching out, and I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you. Absolutely. I'm so glad that I got a chance to meet you in person because we always meet on Instagram. Now
Yeah.
it's in person at Rock. So thank
Mhm.
you for joining us here.
No
But let me
problem.
tell you about Denise Renee. And actually, her title is Writing Books That Make an Impact with Denise Renee. And that really does make a difference there. So Denise Renee likes to joke that she's been writing ever since she could hold a crayon. Wow, you go, girl. Since 1999, she has worked as an entertainment journalist, a marketing copywriter, and a magazine editor, and a business book ghostwriter, to name a few experiences. I'm sure you got a lot more under your cap here. Today, Denise Renee helps people write books and create content that grows their brand. She was raised in New York City. Denise Renee lives in Metro Atlanta area. Yes, we moved from New Jersey, Denise Renee, and I am
Yeah.
from Chicago, so we from the city area, you know. So,
Right.
but welcome to this episode 15
Thank
of
you.
Ready Set Collaborate, and like I said, it's about collaboration, but it's also about being able to share your story as far as what you do, helping write books. And this is going to be a great podcast for a lot of people because they come to me and say, Wanda, I want to write a book. I want to write a book. So now I know who to send them to, you know? And she's a book writing coach. She's a writer, editor, and a book writing coach. So she's a great contact to talk to. So, Denise Renee, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then I'm going to ask you some questions.
Well, I don't know. I tried to be as brief as possible in my bio, but I have had a myriad of experiences. And in the last 15 years or so, I've really been kind of steeped into digital content, digital writing for the web, um, emails, newsletters, direct response copywriting, writing web pages. So my writing experience is pretty extensive. And so now what I do now with working with individuals and business people, helping them to write a book that builds their brand, it kind of brings all of those pieces together. I'm very much marketing focused. I'm very much who's your audience? What are you trying to share? What do you want your audience to get out of your book? What are the goals that you want to have? So it's not just about the writing itself and the content itself. It's also about making sure we structure your book in a way that helps you grow your email list, helps you grow your audience on social, helps you grow your contact list, helps you grow your customers. So we bake some things into that book and into that whole book rollout process that
Mhm.
helps you accomplish the goals that you want to. Because a lot of times people say, yeah, I want to buy the book, I want to get more clients, but they don't know what are all the elements and what are all the pieces that they need to have in place in order to
Mhm.
make that happen. So I put it all together. Wow.
That's awesome. And I wish I had known you earlier. So
That's okay. You know me now. That's right.
that's right. On my next book, right? Part two.
That's it.
But thank you so much. And I appreciate that. And we were talking earlier. When I did my anthology or collaboration book,
Mhm.
I did it because I didn't know how that worked. But then when I came out with my own book, which I self-published myself, God's Grace Through the Fire from Struggle to Triumph, I learned a lot. It's really a lot that you have to go through. You know, when you do an anthology, they do everything for you. You just pay the money. But this one actually was an experience for me that I learned. And I'm always like, I just go right into it and how I do it. So you'd be a good contact for people who have never written a book and even writing a book that can do it. But I want to ask you this question.
Sure.
So, what are common myths or misconceptions about book writing and self-publishing as we talk about that?
One of the common myths is that you have to do it alone. people don't realize, because you sit down and they're your thoughts and your ideas, and you sit down and you do the actual writing by yourself. Producing a book is a collaborative effort. At least if you're looking for that book to have any type of commercial success. If you just want to write something for yourself, for your family, for your friends, then that's fine and more power to you. But if you're looking for your book to be commercially viable, to really touch and reach a particular audience, you need a team of people. So writing is not a solo, it's not a solo thing. Producing a book is not solo. I think also that people don't really realize how involved of a process it is, because it's really easy. It's easy to see either other speakers who have self-published, or some of the writing coaches, book coaches that are out there. They make it seem easy. They're like, well, all you have to do is just, put your topic in ChatGPT, let it spit out a whole bunch of stuff and package it, and boom, and get your cover done on Fiverr, and boom, $500, you're done, and you publish the book and you've uploaded it to Amazon. You can do that. I don't know what kind of results you're going to get from that, but I mean, that's a possibility. But people don't really realize how involved, how much writing a book costs you. It costs you time. It costs you energy. Oh, it certainly will cost you some coin.
Yes.
And how much you spend or invest depends on you, but it also depends on your goals. And I think that old adage that people say, you get what you pay for, it's true when it comes to writing and producing a book, because once you put your book out there, you cannot take it back. You cannot take back the first impression that your book makes. So it makes sense to invest wisely. You don't necessarily have to, invest all of your money, but you want to invest wisely. And a third myth that people assume with writing and self-publishing a book is that, hey, I'm gonna, put my book out there. It's gonna be on Amazon. Everybody's gonna come and see it. I'm gonna have my book launch. Everyone's gonna buy it, and they're just gonna keep on buying.
Yeah.
No. The beauty about writing a book is that once you do it well the first time, that's it. It's done. But your job after that is to continuously market. So you can have a launch, right? A book launch. And that's usually a great way to get a lot of people aware of your book at the outset, and to get a nice little chunk of sales at the beginning. But in week 2 and week 3, in month 2 and month 3, in year 2 and year 3, what are you doing to continuously promote that book and continuously get more sales from the book, continuously get more opportunities from the book, continuously get more clients? What we doing? So yeah, you have to be prepared to have a launch plan for your book, and then have an evergreen marketing plan for your book. So those are 3 quick myths. I can keep going.
No, that's awesome with the myths that you have here. And I definitely want people to contact you with that, because you're right about that. I had the book launch. Okay, now I'm on to the podcast, and I'm forgetting about keep marketing my book. So me marketing my book actually is helping with the podcast as well. But you got to have that patience, that's experience, that marketing call here. But I mean, you mentioned something about right. You mentioned something about AI. So what do you think about using AI to write a book? And you mentioned a little bit about that.
Sure. I see some people who basically are, I'm making a pejorative assumption here, but it seems like from the way that they're marketing their courses or their, programs, that all you have to do is, let AI write all of it. You just make a few edits and that's it. I think AI is a great tool. I use AI powered tools throughout my writing process, but I don't let AI write for me.
Right.
I think it's really challenging to let AI write a book that's based on your personal experiences, that's based on your personal life, that's based on how you specifically help people. Like, you could be a financial advisor, but you may have your own specific methodology and way of helping and educating people. How would AI know that? So I think it could be a great research tool. I think it could help if you feel like one particular chapter is a little short and it's a topic that's easily researchable. I think using that to, give you a few more pointers. You're like, oh, you know what? I didn't think about that. Let me incorporate this idea. I think it could be helpful. I don't think that you should write a 100% AI generated book because you're just writing recipes. Like, I don't need another recipe book. I want to know if I'm going to buy a recipe book, I want to know, how you relate to these recipes. These are recipes from your childhood. These are recipes that you came up with
Yeah.
research from when you went through your cancer journey, and these recipes. Like, I want to know the story connected
Right.
to these recipes or whatever it is that you could, Google or AI, have AI write for you. I want to know your personal connection. So you run a risk if you have a majority of your content that's AI generated. And different platforms are putting different rules in place. Like Amazon now, you have to certify how much of your book is AI generated. We're not sure just yet how
Okay.
they're counting that for or against you, but it is fair to let the public know what they're getting. So I am
Yeah.
the biggest advocate. You can use it kind of in the background to help, but it should not be in the foreground of your writing process.
That's awesome. And I agree. It has to be I mean, that's, your story, your passion,
Mhm.
because AI can be more high level and you want it to be on your level for people to
And
relate
then
to.
if everybody's using it,
Mhm.
everybody sounds the same. How are you going to differentiate? Why
Yeah.
should you buy your AI book versus the other person's AI book?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna ask you, so what are the most important things people should be mindful of when creating content?
When creating content in general, and you can definitely put a book under the content umbrella. There's videos, there's audios, there's images, and
Yeah.
there's books, there's blogs. I think when creating content, the most important thing you should be concerned about is, who is your audience? Who are you looking to reach with your content, whether it's a podcast? I think sometimes people, because we now have experienced so many people who have viral success or they have millions and millions of followers, it's
Mhm.
like, the expectation is that, oh, I'm going to put out this content, this podcast, I'm going to put out this video, and it's going to get
Mhm.
hundreds of thousands of views in 24 hours, and I'm going to blow up. And it doesn't. You put it out and it's crickets.
Yeah.
Even amongst your own family and friends, like no one's checking for you, right? So you really have
Exactly.
to, yeah, your family and friends may not necessarily be the audience that you're looking for. So I
Yeah.
think sometimes people just start, throwing things against the wall to see what
Yeah.
sticks, and
Yeah.
that's not necessarily going to be the best approach. You really have to be intentional. You have to know who's your audience. What do you want to, how do you want to serve them? What is your audience looking for? And you have to be really patient. You mentioned that word earlier. You really have to be patient to let that audience grow over time. Just because you can get a lot of attention from a viral moment doesn't mean that's your audience. They came for that video, they came for that one thing or that one
Mhm.
post, but is that enough to make them stick around?
Mhm.
So you
Mhm.
really, any type of content, and it really, really applies to writing a book. Who is your audience? Who are you trying to reach?
I
Who are
love
you
it.
trying to help?
I love it. You've given out some great some great tips here, and I wish I had met you before. So
Hey, you know me now. You know me now. I got you.
thank you so much. I appreciate it. So I want to ask you about social media. Is content and social media the same thing?
And part of the reason, just to clarify for your audience, you introduced me as a writer, editor, and book writing coach, and that is true. But
Mhm.
another little title down there is, I am also a content strategist, and like I shared earlier, I've been in this digital marketing game for good 15 or so years. So content marketing and social media.
Mhm.
Social media is a vehicle that you can use to promote your content,
Mhm.
but I would not say that they are synonymous, because you can promote your content very much offline. You
Mhm.
do not necessarily have to promote everything and do everything for social. I mean, however, what did we do before 2007?
I know, right?
People use the local news media. They use
Yeah.
magazines. They wrote for magazines. They wrote for newspapers, national, trade publications.
Mhm.
They went out to conferences, gave talks and speeches, used
Right.
local media, internet, and national media. I mean, there's so many different ways to get your content out
Mhm.
to people. So social media is not the only way. And, these days, with the way you really have to pay to play to get any kind of, organic movement or you have to pay to play is not organic. Um, how they really suppress organic reach, they really want you to pay to boost your post and advertise and things like that.
Yeah.
Because it's more challenging these days, it's not the
Mhm.
wild, wild west anymore. It's more
Yeah.
challenging to have that organic growth. You really have to look at different ways to connect, collaborate, and get your content out to the audience that you're looking to reach. So your content
Mhm.
is, your book, your content is your blog or your newsletter, your content is, your videos, your content is your podcast. How are you getting exposure for your content in ways outside or alongside of social media? So social media is just one promotional channel
Yeah.
for your
Yeah.
content.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is so true. That is great. So we're winding down time because I wanted to you to tell us a little bit about your business. But I actually, when I did my own book,
Mhm.
I got the copyright. I did copyright it to make sure that nobody took my name per se, you know.
Your
So
name or your book?
what's that?
Your name or your book?
My book. I'm sorry, my book.
Okay.
I copyright my name too, but no, my book.
You could trademark your name.
Yes, 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 exactly. So yeah, so I did do that. But is copywriting or persuasive writing manipulative or duplicitous?
Okay. So let me just separate two things here. So copywriting is one
Mm-hmm.
thing, and getting the copyright to your book is something else.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those little pesky homophones. Two
Mm-hmm.
words that are spelled differently, but they sound the same. So the copyright to your book, like for example, here's one of my clients' books,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll get the on that inside page where they tell you copyright by so and so. So this
Right.
protects this work and your work
Mm-hmm.
from anyone trying to steal your work or do, what? Here's a perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I know I'm going to say some names that are like, ooh, it's a buzz right now.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
right now, this gentleman, what's his name, Christian Keys,
Mm-hmm.
he did a video a couple weeks ago. He's the creator of All the King's Men, All the Queen's Men, a show
Uh-huh.
on ET
Right.
in partnership with Tyler Perry. They were sued. They have been sued a couple of times because another author
Mm-hmm.
said that their TV show sounds so much like his book, even though the TV show was supposedly based on a book that Christian Keys wrote. So that's a
Right.
whole mess, right?
Yeah.
So when you file with the Library of Congress that, hey, this is my book, these are my ideas, and if
Right.
a couple years later something pops up somewhere, a book, a movie, and it's like, wait, hold on, this sounds just like mine. You
Yeah.
can go to court and say, I need a piece of the pie because they made a
Yeah.
different work.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's one thing. That's the copyright on your book, on music, on a movie, etc.
Yeah.
Copywriting is part of digital marketing.
Okay.
Copywriting is what copy is basically any words that are used to market or promote a business. And typically, you're trying to get that person who's reading it or experiencing it to take an action with you. You want them to get on your email list. You want them to buy this product or whatever, what have you. So copywriting is also part of persuasive writing. And the question was, is copywriting, is it manipulative? Is it duplicitous? Because, you're trying to get somebody to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you are coming from a place of, you know what, I'm here to help,
Mhm,
because some, you know, as with anything, people can take it and kind of go left with it. But
mhm,
if you are looking to say, hey, you know what, I am a financial advisor and I am looking to work with Gen Xers 50 and up who haven't started a retirement plan yet, how
mm,
can they play catch up? Well, you're offering a service, right? So you're
mhm,
going to use words in your marketing and copy that speak to that demographic. And those who are in that demographic, it'll perk their ears up. And then you can present them with, hey, you know what? If you haven't gotten started, I'd love to help you out. You can download my free blah, blah, blah. If that person is interested, that those words that you have presented, that, you know, information to them, if that resonates with them, you're
mhm,
helping them to make a decision to say, hey, you know what, I haven't gotten started with my retirement, let me get this. All right, so you're trying to help them. So if you're coming from that point of view, you can look at yourself as someone who's trying to help facilitate a transaction for someone that's
mm,
in their best interest.
mm,
And if someone else comes along and sees that copy, let's say they are a Gen Z, they're 22 years old, they're in their first job, and they're like, I'm not one of those Gen Xers, I'm not one of those boomers, this doesn't apply to me. Da, da, da. They're going to move right along. And that's the point of copy. You
mhm,
want to attract the people that you are meant to attract, that audience you're looking to attract, and you
mhm,
can repel everybody else. And you
yeah,
can do so ethically.
mhm.
I
Wow,
hope.
you put it in a nutshell, and that is such great information. I mean, I'm hoping people with listen to this podcast get all of these little tips and time and contact Denise Renee. So we're winding down on the time, but I want you to tell us real quickly how your entrepreneurship journey began. How did
Girl,
you get into writing a book?
we ain't got no time for that. But
Your version.
my person, you know, my entrepreneurship journey started years and years ago when I first, um, you know, what part of my experience is I'm a musician, songwriter, producer, and it kind of started way back when I produced my first CD.
Okay.
And it has morphed, you know, over the years. We'll skip over years, but really me doing helping people with their writing. It started um, was it 2014? And I was still working a corporate job. And then in 2017, I was kind of at a crossroads where I had to either get another job or my option was to, you know what, I've been freelancing for a little while. Let me see if I can jump out there and do this myself. I
Hmm.
decided to jump out there and do it on my own. It's been a roller coaster. It's been some
Hmm.
highs and there's been some lows. But I I wouldn't take it back. I wouldn't take that experience back
Yes.
for anything because I didn't know what I didn't know, right?
Yep. Yep.
However, what I recommend doing what I did, like kind of like jumping out there, I had no, not once, I had one paycheck. Okay. I was like, this last paycheck, when it come in, that's it. I don't recommend that. However, you know, I jumped out there in faith and, you know, somehow God has had me my back these
Yeah.
last 6 or 7 years.
Because
But
that's where you're supposed to be. This is where you're supposed to be. And the same thing happened to me when I left corporate. 36 years I retired. And that was a big
mm,
paycheck that I said, okay, okay, God, you got me, right? You got me to get out here, and I was young when I retired, but I had the years. So,
mm.
but that is awesome. And I truly appreciate that. So I'm gonna ask you one more question that I want you to tell us. So how has collaboration factored into your entrepreneurship journey?
You know, definitely there are times where you know, I'm kind of out there kind of on my own doing my own thing, but behind the scenes
Hmm.
there I definitely have community behind me. You know, and I really experienced that this past year, 2023.
Hmm.
um it was really rough. I had a little bit of a mental episode kind of in the middle of the year. It had been building. And one person who was so instrumental to me was my own mom. And she was like, girlfriend, I need you to drop everything and get your behind back on home and come
Hmm.
over here and let's, you know, let's regroup.
Hmm.
And, you know, definitely people kind of rallied around me and helped support me through that time.
Hmm.
And I also have people who are like my business besties. You know, some are like really great friends of mine, but we also kind of collaborate back and forth and really help each other, really mastermind. Like one of those people for me, her name is Nina Oglesby. and she's the intentional conversationalist on Instagram. She's such a brilliant PR strategist, and we're both writers, but we come from it in completely different ways. And we, every now and then we'll collaborate, we'll do a video together or something like that. But behind the scenes, we're always talking. We're
Wow.
always talking about different things and just encouraging each other and pushing each other along. And I think we were talking earlier. Edeline Francois, the founder of We Rock. I've been friends with her for a long time. So she's another one who's kind of like behind the scenes in my corner, where we talk back and forth,
Yeah.
really encourage each other. So, people may see me talking head videos, on YouTube, on Instagram, or whatever, but no one understands that there are other people behind me who are part of my community that help me, stay encouraged, because it can be very challenging. When you're building a brand, it can be very challenging when you're building a business. I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be 100% transparent. I did start, I jumped back into corporate. I started a new job a couple weeks back, because, okay. It's hard, one of the things that, like I said earlier, there's some things that I didn't know what I didn't know. I thought that, as long as I make, what I made on my job, I'll be fine. No, ma'am. You need money for taxes. You need money to reinvest in the business. So it's just like, started, you can't just start spending that money that you made, because you needed to expand what you're doing. So, give me a paycheck, please. Yes, please, kindly, and thank you. And the way I've restructured my business, the way I can coach people, I can coach around my job. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna build over here, we're gonna do this over here, we're gonna handle that over there. Listen, I juggle like 3 or 4 different income streams. I ain't gonna lie, because you have to, like.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
But yeah, so yeah, no, there's definitely, I cannot do this alone. And I think the ultimate person on my team, or whose team I am on, for me, that is the Lord. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
If it hadn't been for the Lord on my side.
Yes. God to work it out. I tell you, he would definitely work it out to get you there. But listen, I enjoyed you on this, and you've given out so many tips and information about everything. So I'm going to have you on here again, because this is not enough time. But I want to know that exactly. So I want you to tell people, how do they contact you?
Sure. Well, you can find me on my website, www.writingwithdeniserenee.com. I had a brain freeze because I'm like, I just relaunched it a couple months ago. And you can find me on YouTube. Yeah, my YouTube channel is like a great resource, and I'm really building it up. You can find me on YouTube at Writing with Denise Renee. You can also find me on TikTok and Instagram at Writing with Denise Renee. And if you want to connect on LinkedIn, linkedin.com/in/Writing with Denise Renee. So those are my platforms. Any other platforms, that ain't me.
Yeah, and it makes it easy. Writing with Denise.
Yeah. Writing with Denise Renee.
Denise Renee. I keep leaving out that Renee. Writing with Denise Renee. Her website, writingwithdeniserenee.com. Okay. LinkedIn, the same thing, Writing with Denise Renee, and Writing with Denise Renee on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. But I'm going to have that in the information as well. Yeah, in the information. But I truly appreciate you, girl. I tell you, this is really informative. I enjoyed our talk here. So thank you so much for being on Ready, Set, Collaborate podcast, episode 15. I got to figure out which one we're on here. Episode 15. And I would love for you to, I'm going to have you back on my show, because you got too much information to be, just with a short time here. So, but thank you, everyone. Continue to subscribe, follow Ready, Set, Collaborate with Wanda Pearson, and stay tuned for our next episode. Thank you so much. Thanks, Renee.
Thank you.
Denise Renee.
You're going to get it. It's coming. You're going to get it.
Denise Renee.
Denise Renee.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.